Very good morning, children. Welcome to today's biology class. Last class we started about the invertebrates, and under that we studied about the four phylums. And first phylum what you discussed is the Porifera, and the second is Coelenterata, and the third one is Platyhelminthes, and fourth one is an Nematyhelminthes. Okay, children, and today class we are going to study about the remaining phylums, and the fifth one is about Annelida, and the sixth one is we'll discuss about Arthropoda, and the seventh is Mollusca, and the eighth one is an Echinodermata. Okay, let me repeat what we are going to study in today's classes. Fifth phylum is Annelida, and the sixth is Arthropoda, and seventh is Mollusca, and eighth is an Echinodermata. Okay, children. Okay, let me explain about the fifth phylum is Annelida. If you see the annelidans, and these are bilaterally symmetrical, and you know that the meaning of the bilaterally symmetrical is when you cut the organism, both the sides, the right body design is equal to the left body design. That is called as a bilaterally symmetrical. And these organisms are triploblastic, that means they are covered. The cells are covered in three layers, triploblastic organisms. And these organisms are coelomates. Coelomates means they have true body cavity. That means inside, in between the body cavity and an internal organs, there is a space. That particular space we'll call it as a coelomic space, and that's the reason they are called as a coelomates. Okay, and next one, if you come to these organisms, they have a bit high differentiation in the body arrangement. That means we can clearly see the head region and the tail region we can see. Okay, and mostly these organisms, these animals are segmented. What is the meaning of the segmented means? And we can see the segments, these are called the segments. Okay, so the body divided into different segments, and so we can very clearly see the head and the tail region. Okay, yes. Next, mostly these organisms are the freshwater, and some of these organisms that we can also see in the marine water, and as well as we can also see these animals in land also. They are freshwater, and freshwater means in the rivers we can see, and the marine water means in the seas and the oceans, and we can see these animals also on the land. Okay, yes. So what are the examples come under this annelidans means? The first one is earthworm, second is leech. Look at these pictures, children. Third one is Nereis. Okay, yes. So that's all about the phylum Annelida. Whereas coming to the next phylum, the sixth phylum, Arthropoda. Out of these 8 phylums, Arthropoda is the largest phylum we can say. Arthropoda is the largest phylum. Many organisms will come under this particular phylum. Actually, what is the meaning of Arthropoda? All this terminology in biology, it's a Greek. Okay, Arthropoda, Greek as well as in the Latin. Okay, arthro means jointed, poda means legs. These organisms, they possess jointed legs. Okay, yes. Mostly, I said that this is the largest the phylum out of 8 phylums, and we can say these organisms are bilaterally symmetrical. That means the left body design is similar to the right body design, and we can say that open circulatory system they are having. Okay, let me explain a little detail about this open circulatory system. You people, you know that the circulatory system consists of heart, blood, and then blood vessels. When heart pumps the blood goes into the blood vessels, and through the blood vessels it circulates to all the body parts. Okay, that we you know already. Okay, yes. Whereas coming to this open type of the circulatory system, especially in arthropods, and we don't see any sort of the blood vessels. So the heart pumps the blood directly into the open spaces. Okay, when the blood pumps into the open spaces, and we'll call that is an open circulatory system. When the blood is pumped by the heart into the blood vessels, and that particular type system we'll call it as a closed type of circulatory system. Mostly these organisms, the arthropods, they have an open circulatory system. Okay, yes. Let's come to the other point. These are most coelomates. Coelomates means they have the body space. Okay, in between the body cavity and other internal organs, the space is present. That's why we can call them as they are coelomates. And another interesting point is here, that particular space is, the empty space is filled with blood. That's why these organisms, mostly we call them as blood filled organisms, we can say that. Okay, yes. Let's come into the examples, children. It's a very interesting, children, to learn the scientific names here. Mostly 6 examples are given and 6 scientific names you have to study here. Okay, let's come into the prawn. The scientific name for the prawn is Palimon. Okay, and the next one is the butterfly. The butterfly scientific name is Rhodophilus. Okay, yes. Whereas coming to the spider, spider is Arancia. Okay, cockroach is Periplatinus. Periplaneta. Okay, but coming to the centipede, we can call that Scolopendra. Okay, the next one is an housefly, and scientific name is a musca. Let me repeat that. The prawn scientific name is Palimon, butterfly Rhodophyllaceae, and spider is Arancia, and the next one is cockroach is called as a Periplaneta, and centipede Scolopendra, and the last one is a housefly, it's called as a musca. Okay, children? Okay, these are all the examples for Arthropoda phylum. Whereas coming to the 7th, scorpion is also there. The scorpion scientific name is a Palmanius. Okay, yes. Whereas coming to the molluscans, these organisms are bilateral symmetrical. As usual, you can say that the left body design is similar to the right body designs, and we can say that they are pseudocoelomates. What is the meaning of the pseudocoelomates? Means pseudo means false. They are not possessing true coelomic space. That's the reason we'll call it as not true coelom. Also we can write. Otherwise we can write these are pseudocoelomates. Okay. Yes. So little segmentation. What the segmentation is nothing but the division among the body cavity. I said. So as coming to these organisms, we will see very little segmentation is observed in these animals. Okay, yeah, and these organisms are also open circulatory system. That means the blood is pumped into the open spaces of the body cavity. Okay, the next one. Whereas coming to this particular group, I think then I can say this is a 7th phylum. In the 7th phylum, we are studying about excretory process. These organisms, they develop the special structures for the excretion, and that particular organ is called as a kidney. Okay, in these organisms, they have the kidneys for excretion. Next, we can say that they have other special structure that is called as a foot. That foot is useful for the locomotion. For the movement of the snail, it opens this foot, and then when the foot comes out, then the snail it will be moves. So the foot is useful for the locomotion. Okay, yes. Let's come to an example here. Snail, the scientific name is a Pila, and the other one is octopus and union, and we can also say the chiton. Let me repeat once. Snail, the scientific name is Pila, and the octopus and chiton and the union, these are the examples for the molluscans. Okay, yes. And the last phylum in an invertebrates is an Echinodermata. Let me pronounce once again, Echinodermata. What's the meaning of echino? Echino means you can just like as a hedgehog. I hope you know that what is a hedgehog called. Hedgehog is nothing but the porcupine. Porcupine or organism, if you see, it has a pointed spines. Almost all these animals under the Echinodermata, they have the pointed spines like structures. That's the reason they call as an hedgehog type of skin they have. How the porcupine has a skin, like that these organisms they possess and they exhibit the skin. Okay, that is the meaning of this Echinodermata. Echinos. Echinos means hedgehog and derma means skin. Okay, yes. Then we can also say that these animals are spiny skinned animals. The total organism, it has the many spines we'll observe in these particular animals. Okay, mostly these are the marine animals, that means they live in the seas and the ocean, and then these are the diploblastic organisms, that means the organism is covered by the 3 layers. And next one, coelomates, that means they have the enough body space, and we can say that another special characteristic feature we are studying here, it is they have special water driven system. About this we already studied in poriferans. Poriferans also, the whole body they have provided with the pores. That is, through the pores what will happen, the water can able to move around this particular organisms. I hope you remember this point. Okay, exactly like this, these animals they have water driven tubular system. What is the use of this water driven tubular system? Means it helps the water to be moved around that. And you studied that whenever the water moves around that, what will happen? The food it goes inside, as well as an oxygen also it goes inside. Okay, that's the reason these organisms they keep the water to be driven around this particular organism. Okay, yes. Next one. Let's come to the skeleton. Skeleton is made up of the calcium carbonate salt. That is the reason they are hard. I hope maybe you've seen anytime when you visit the beach, sometimes you can see small starfishes, they'll come out. So the shell of, if you touch that organisms, they have the hard the skeleton they will notice. Okay, the skeleton is made up of the calcium carbonate. Okay, what are the examples? What are the examples come under the Echinodermata? Means we can say the scientific name as well as common name we'll see. The first one is Antedon. The scientific name is a feather star. Next one is Holotheria, and this common name is called as sea cucumber. Okay, and the third one is Echinus, is a scientific name, and the common name is a sea urchin. And fourth one is Astraceae, and the common name is starfish. Okay, let me say once again the common names. The feather star scientific name is an Antedon, sea cucumber scientific name is an Holotheria, and sea urchin scientific name is an Echinus, and starfish scientific name is an Astraceae. Okay children, that's all. We completed all the invertebrates, 8 phylums we studied, and the next class I'll explain about the Protochordata, and Protochordata is a connecting link between invertebrates and vertebrates, and we'll study about even vertebrate phylums also. Okay children, today's class I covered the 4 phylums, and the 5th phylum what I explained is about Annelida, and the 6th one is Arthropoda, and the 7th one is Mollusca, and the 8th phylum and the last phylum in invertebrates is an Echinodermata. Okay children, that's all for today, and stay safe at home. Have a nice day, and I'll send the key points and note down the key points in the CW. Bye children.